Boom. Anyway, podcast live. Look who's here. It's Cuddles.
It's me.
We got a great episode for you here, including Ghislaine Maxwell, living it up,
That
laughing,
bitch.
exercising, living the life. Speaking of life, they're splitting Giselle and Tom. How much are they worth? Where it's all going? Speaking of worth, Elon's worth a little less. He's got Twitter now. Does he bring back Trumpy Trumpkins? What's the deal with that? We'll get into it. Paul Pelosi gets attacked. We've got the McRib to discuss. Jerry Lee Lewis leaves us, and so much more. Cuddles is here. You're here. We're all together. It's a podcast. All right, don't forget, we're taking your Halloween stories for Halloween night. If you have a scary story, email it to us at the below address, mdchmedia@gmail.com. That's mdchmedia@gmail.com. Email us your scary stories, and you could join us on the air and tell that story Monday night, Halloween night. We're going to be doing that episode with you in costume. Come in your costume. I'm going to have a little fun on Monday. Speaking of a little fun there, Cuddles, Ghislaine Maxwell seems to be having a ton of it, as we've got some footage of her in prison down in Florida. This is the first time we've seen footage of her. The cover art of this episode is the new photo we have of her, the new prison photo we have of her. So we're getting some new images and videos from her. And she's down there in Florida just laughing it up with some of the other inmates. You can see in this video, which, by the way, we have linked in the description below, she's on a jogging path in this minimum or low security prison down there in Florida. She's jogging around. She's laughing it up with some of the other inmates.
Just living the life.
Living the
nice
life.
in Florida weather.
Yeah.
Living the life. She should be reflecting and feeling horrible for what she did.
Yes. It feels like the justice system failed everybody in this endeavor. Her winding up down in Florida, like you said, nice way. Like she should be in Alaskan maximum security. You get an hour a day outside of your cell, but it's freezing cold.
Yeah. Do we still send people to like Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah, I think they put a stop to that, but they should open it back up for her. This would be the
Fuck
one.
that. Put that bitch there.
This would be the one to get the party started again back in Gitmo for sure.
100%.
Here's the other thing too, and again, this link is in the description below, so go ahead and click on that so you can see what we're talking about. You can see the footage of her jogging around, and then you can see, I don't know who the other inmate is that she's like laughing with and walking around with, but who befriends Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Like, who's that person?
I don't know. Someone desperate. I would want to shank the bitch.
I think about this often, like how I would be in prison, and I know you got to kind of like get a little buddy system going, so nobody.
Yeah, but I don't like people, so I would never survive. I don't want to talk to people. Like,
Yeah,
you have to be friends with people. You're surrounded by people. You have to talk to them 24/7. That is like my worst nightmare.
I know,
She should have to pay back. Like, we have to pay for her to eat. We have to pay for her to have 3 hot meals. She should have to pay that back. She's got a lot of money, this bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
She should have to pay for these things. Tell her to go into her pocket.
It's unfair, isn't it? It really is. Well, she's suing her lawyers. The lawyers are suing her because she hasn't paid the lawyers. There's a whole mess there.
Oh, the fucking bitch.
Her husband, I don't know what's going on with that whole thing. But I'm with you. She should not be living it up. She shouldn't be allowed to jog. She shouldn't be allowed to, be experiencing any form of happiness.
Yeah, this is not a privilege. It's not a privilege to have these things. You should be like suffering she definitely deserves suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shouldn't be like you're exercising and being very healthy while the rest of us that are law-abiding citizens are just out here struggling, and she's just, she's jogging and getting a tan. That fucking bitch.
Here's the other thing too. So far, if you look at the grand totals from 2022 and how many times we've jogged outside, Ghislaine Maxwell is beating me in so far.
Already.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't done. I don't. Who jogs? First of all, who
we're
jogs
we're,
today?
we're down 1-0 to Ghislaine Cuddles. We got to pick it up a little bit.
Listen, if
No,
there's like a zombie apocalypse, we're dead, babe.
no,
We
but
are
here's
dead.
the thing, and I want to say what's up to everybody in the live chat. Everybody reminding me to encourage everybody to share this episode. Hit that share button on Facebook or YouTube if you're watching on Twitch. Make sure you hit that share, hit the like button. It all matters. All helps the algorithm, all the algorithm stuff. Do all the algorithm things. But here's the thing. The problem is minimum security. Like in maximum security, and I know this extensively from watching Oz and also Con Air. They don't
Exactly. HBO.
Right. They don't love the pedophiles. Like the pedophiles don't get befriended in
No.
maximum
Yeah.
security. Like you could be a murderer, fine, a thief, fine, con man, fine. It's all fine. You could be burning people alive. That's okay. But you mess with young kids, and that doesn't get a pass in prison. But that kind of happens more so in maximum security. There's nobody in minimum security that's ballsy enough to take somebody out. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
because maximum security is most people, they're there for life. At minimum, and like, they're like, oh, I got another year to go. I'm not going to do anything to get myself in trouble. Send that bitch to maximum, and, she'll Epstein herself. She'll
Right.
Epstein herself, like air quote. Yeah.
Nobody's going to be sad. By the way, nobody's going to be sad if she gets Epsteined. Like nobody. Like
No one.
we were upset that Epstein got Epstein because who knows, maybe he would have given up more. We would have found out more. He would have seen his day in court. He would have had to go through the whole thing. She's gone through it basically for the most part. So if she gets Epstein, I think everybody would be more than happy,
Hell yeah.
For Miss Justice and everybody else who sent in a ghost story, we've gotten a lot of ghost stories. We're
Yeah, they're
going
really good.
through.
Thank you for sending them.
Yes, we're going through them. I haven't personally read any yet, but I know we're going to go through that process over the weekend. So, again, if you've already sent it, you're good. We've got it. If you haven't, if you have a good ghost story that you want to share with us, that you want to come on the show and share with us, you just send that over to the email mdchmedia@gmail.com, and we'll share those ghost stories on All Hallows Eve. I like what we used to call Halloween. That's better than Halloween to me.
That's true.
So Ghislaine Maxwell, that's it. That's where we're at with her. She's living
I
it up
hate
there.
that bitch. I hate her.
Yeah, this burns my ass too. I liked it when she was in Brooklyn, being treated like how Brooklyn people are treated. That was the thing.
Exactly.
They were shining flashlights in her eye. They were waking her up all the time. Like that's just normal Brooklyn behavior. It had nothing to do with being in a prison.
Exactly. Shit's like, it's rough in New York. Florida is like a resort. This bitch should be up here in the 40-degree weather we're going through right now, suffering. That's what she deserves.
Yeah.
With gray roofs.
Fucking country club down there. I wonder if they'll move her. I wonder if this is like the first stop or if this is where she's going to go and serve out those 20 years. I don't know.
I know. Maybe they'll send to Pennsylvania. I know Allenwood is a federal penitentiary. Send to the fucking Pennsylvania.
Brian would like you to stop sugarcoating your feelings, Cuddles.
I will not sugarcoat anything, Brian. I will only tell the truth. That's why I'm not on this show all the time.
That's right. We can't handle it.
Because you can't handle me. You can't handle Cuddles. And I've also had 2 beers already. 2 pumpkin beers. So you're getting like the Cuddles special tonight. Let's go. Next topic, because I'm getting really heated.
All right. Speaking of, let's talk about Jumpstart Coffee Company. This is what Cuddles is going to use in the morning.
The best.
To rebound from the inevitable hangover.
Oh, God. I know. Before football pitchers, it's Jumpstart.
Yes. Oh, God. Football. Our son is in football. He's 10 weeks of just hijacking our weekends. So then we get a bye week where we don't have to do anything, and that's the friggin' week that they slap football pictures. So we still got to get them dressed. We still got to take them to the field in the morning.
No, we have football on Sunday. Our bye week was
Our bye week
changed.
was moved.
Yeah. So Jumpstart is like life this weekend.
Our children would not be being raised if it wasn't for Jumpstart Coffee Company. How true is that statement?
We're not functioning parents without Jumpstart.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how these other parents are doing it. The only thing I can come up with is cocaine. I believe they're all doing some form of speed.
Like some of these other bullshit coffees, no functioning.
No.
None whatsoever.
So stay away from the bullshit coffees and stay away from the Coke. Stick with Jumpstart Coffee Company. Save 15% off the best coffee that we have ever had with the code AOA15. Link in the description. You could also get it with the homepage link at anthonyonair.com. Grab some Jumpstart Coffee Company. Medium roast, espresso blend, dark blend, whatever is yours. Maybe the new medium dark blend they got. They slap those two flavors together. Everything is magical. It is the best coffee we've ever had. Cuddles and I like to brew it up. We have it nice and hot in the morning sometimes. I like a little cup in the afternoon, so we'll brew up a pot. We'll get it cool, put it in the fridge, and we got our iced coffee for the next day or so. Always enjoyable, and the smell is fantastic.
Amazing. But the only lie there is don't say that Cuddles and I like to brew it up. You don't even know how to use the coffee machine.
I watch. I encourage.
You do. You're like, hey, babe, can you make me some Jumpstart? And I'm like, okay, no problem, babe. So,
every great athlete and performer needs a cheerleader, and I like to fill that role.
I'm your handler.
I'm your cheerleader. I cheer you on.
You do. You do. You do. I'll give you that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Tom and Gisele. I kind of said I would not talk about this anymore because I'm not really all that interested. But then they filed for divorce today, and then the money figure started getting tossed around, and that sort of intrigued me. Like, don't you want to know what they're splitting up?
Oh yeah, they're worth a lot of money, those two.
A ton of money, and famously, she is worth more than him, although not much more. She is worth, I got the figures here in front of me. She is worth around $400 million. He around $333 million. He's got more money, of course, coming when he retires. He's going to join that Fox booth to call the games, to call the NFL games. But yeah, 333 million for him, 400 million for her. The estimates are over the course of their career, she has starred in more than 550 campaigns, posed for 2,000 magazine covers, and walked in 800 fashion shows is how she grabbed $400 million. Of course, we know for Tom Brady, it's 22 seasons, 7 Super Bowl titles. He's got a ton of records. That's how he racked up $333 million. They've had a bunch of different homes over the course of their marriage together, including a $17 million estate in Miami. That was supposedly in the midst of being rebuilt. They have a mansion in Costa Rica. I'm not sure how much that's worth. And a $3.6 million condo in New York, which is it me or is that on the cheap side? Like when I read 3.6 million, that doesn't get you a lot in New York City.
Yeah, but I think he only really has it just so he can see his son Jack. Because Jack lives in New York with his mother a lot. You know,
Got
the
it.
apps.
Even still, though, when you have $333 million in the bank, I would assume that you're at least in the $10 to $15 million range for your New York City.
True.
Even if you're there for the weekend and you're not doing much, I still feel like 3.6 million is a little on the light side.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, he's in Florida most of the time. I mean,
Correct.
he flies his kid down to Florida to see him. The one thing I have to say, and that I respect Tom about, is that Giselle is like world. Like the whole world knows Giselle. The whole world, like, she's huge in Brazil, where she came from, and like Central and South America. He's just big here, and he's worth that much money. That's huge in just our country. She's huge worldwide because she is a supermodel. Like her I think she has like fashion lines and stuff. That's huge in like her country, Brazil, where she came from and all that, but he's big here. And that's
Right.
a big accomplishment.
You're saying it's a bigger accomplishment for him because he made that much money in one country.
Exactly. Here,
I
just
can
in
see
the
that.
US, just by his playing football and I mean, he's amazing, but like also his campaigns that are just really local to the US.
13 years they were together for, which kind of doesn't seem like
Yeah.
that long of a time, actually.
I mean, for marriage, it is a long time. For celebrities and all that, it's a long time. For
That's
sports,
true.
it's a long time.
By the way, it just came out that she snuck away and bought a place in the city as well in February. So around the time that he was deciding on his comeback and said, went back on his retirement, she went up and bought a place in New York, and she only spent $1.25 million.
I really don't think that it depends on where it is, but like, I don't think the market is as crazy as you think it is. Here in New York, at least.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. This wasn't in New York. I thought this was in New York. It's not. I'm incorrect. It was in Miami Beach. So
Oh,
1.25
then,
million in Miami Beach, a little 3 bedroom thing. I wonder if that's just because the renovation, or probably not. Probably because she knew she was.
yeah, she knew it was coming.
Mm.
Didn't she give him like an ultimatum? Like if he went back, like that was it.
Yeah, but I think what we've learned since then is it was almost doomed before that. I
Really?
don't think that was the
Hmm.
last straw as much as people thought. In fact, the more like I read on them, I kind of get the feeling like maybe he decided to go back because it had already gone to shit, and so he might as well be with the guys and doing what he loves, you know,
Yeah.
than not doing that.
So
But
then
like I
what was it? Because they seem like they look like they were so in sync. I mean, I know
well,
he's like super
yeah,
like
Janine,
dedicated
Janine,
to football and everything.
Janine thinks he's just a piece of shit, and that he's been sleeping around. He thinks they have an agreement. Remember? She
I
said,
don't think.
"God bless you."
Sorry,
By
I
the
was
way.
like I did you hear me
No, you didn't.
in
You
the
muted.
house?
But I just wanted
I
to say
did.
God bless
I
you.
didn't want you to like everyone to hear me
No,
sneeze.
you're a professional.
I don't think they have an agreement. I don't think he would. There's just something about them. I don't think that would happen.
Then I don't understand what happens here because, I like, again, I know money doesn't solve problems, but it certainly can get rid of a lot of them. So what's the explanation here if it wasn't football and all that? And by
Yeah,
the
but
way,
like their money isn't like if you were like, "Oh, we have an extra like $5,000 for the year." Like money's not an object for them. So I don't think
but that's what
money
I'm saying. It's
is
it's not like they don't have time to get away, or it's not like they don't have means to have a date night or travel to this place or, have the extra help for the kids or, whatever the case may be. They can
yeah.
eliminate a lot of the pressures of normal everyday marriage for most people, so it comes down to one of them just was it. I think he was absentee, like even like whether it was football or not. Like I think he was just like an absentee kind of a guy. He doesn't seem like a big you know, because on top of football, he has a company, TB12, and he's making like protein powders and shit like that for everybody. So I think he was just gonna be like
Yeah.
somebody who was always gonna be preoccupied and not really,
But I
you
think
know.
he's very business driven
Yes.
and that can take a toll when you're like a millionaire and like you have a lot riding on you. I think that's like you just have to always strive for more. And I think he let that get the best of him and his marriage.
Hmm.
And I think that's what it is. It's like he always wanted more and always wanted to do more and be the best, and that takes a toll.
I also think we should point this out that she made $400 million, but she hasn't worked in like 13 years. Because when they got married,
Yeah.
she like committed to having the kids and being with the family, and she put her whole career aside. And that's modeling, by the way, is not that's not something that you can really just put aside because you kind of hit your prime and you have X amount of time, and then that's really kind of it. I
Yeah.
mean, sadly, the time, once you pass a certain age, you kind of get relegated to fucking JCPenney catalogs and stuff, and that's not really her,
I think she's huge with, like, Victoria's Secret in the US, but outside the US, she's huge compared to what she is here. Like, here, she's known as Giselle, the, Victoria's Secret model married to Tom Brady, but outside the country, she's known for her products and her fashion and all that. I think it's just she kept up with that, and that just got her through the 13 years, and she's huge.
Yeah, Christine says that MSNBC is saying she's worth 533 million. She very well could be. Paul
Yeah.
pointing out that she was on the Bazaar cover this year. I mean, she's still done stuff, but she hasn't been
Yeah.
hitting it full time the way she used to be. Is
Oh, no.
what I'm saying.
No, she hasn't, but I think she made a name for herself, and that has carried her through, which is normal.
She's not running around the circuit the way she typically would be. I don't
She
know
doesn't
though.
have to.
I don't want to get too much into fashion because last episode or the one before that, I was fashion shamed by Uncle Jamie, who was mad at me for not knowing, who was it, Balenciaga or something?
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga. I didn't know who that was, and I
know. Uncle Jamie is the best.
I was fashion shamed off the air.
He was.
But
Yeah,
I
there was
maintain
a
my
private
position.
chat about that.
I maintain my position. I've gotten all my fashion knowledge basically comes from The Devil Wears Prada. So if it wasn't in that, I don't really know about it.
If it's not an Old Navy $5 t-shirt, you don't know. And I respect that.
By the way, speaking of fashion, the AOA merch makes a great holiday. Makes a great holiday gift. I'm just saying, we got a lot of nice, comfy hoodies.
Me too.
I was wearing an AOA hoodie earlier we had a little fire.
Which one am I wearing? What am I wearing today?
You're wearing the coats one.
I am the long sleeve coats t-shirt. Love it.
Comfortable as shit, isn't it?
Very. I love it. I love white. I love wearing a white t-shirt, a white long sleeve shirt. Even if you have like a hoodie on top of it, like an AOA hoodie on top, it just looks great coming out the bottom. I just love that.
By the way, not to start a fight with my wife live on the podcast, but the shirt she's talking about is actually my shirt. She asked me if she could wear it this morning, and I said goodbye to it because I don't know if I'm ever going to get that shirt back now.
Never. Never. Absolutely never.
Mm-hmm.
Get over it.
It's unfair. You annex t-shirts the way fucking Putin annexes Ukraine.
Oh,
Ukraine
I'm sorry.
territories.
I'm sorry, mister. I have 6 drawers full of t-shirts that I don't wear.
Just without regard for feelings or anything else. You're like, this is mine now. We're fucking moving on. That's it.
Do you like your clean clothes?
See, this is why I don't want to. See, this is why I don't say anything. I can't start a fight.
That's right.
Next Trump.
Topic.
Elon Trump and Twitter. All right, so last we spoke, Elon officially took over from Twitter. Apparently he went in. I saw a photo of him at the coffee bar at Twitter, just kind of casually talking with everybody. I would love to be in the room in Twitter these couple of days because it's super awkward. By the way, I've been a part of smaller versions of this where you got a new boss coming in and they've got all their ideas and you're wondering who's going to survive. Actually, over the course of my radio career at one company, Cuddles, you can attest to this. I was there for 13 years. I had 6 bosses. So every 2 years, I had to get used to a new fucking person. every 2 years, and it was always the same thing. They'd be like, well, I think we should change this and maybe we should do that. And then by the end of their tenure, they were practically blowing me because they were like, what do I do? Nothing
They
else is
were like beaten down. They were so positive at the beginning, and then they
yeah.
were beaten down.
Yeah.
You kind of felt bad for them.
They all got the wrong story on me specifically going into it. And then by the end, they were like, you're the only thing that makes money. How do we fucking do this for the rest of the company? And then I would always say the same thing. I would tell you, but judging by my clock, you're 3 months away from getting fired anyway. So it doesn't make a difference.
You were such an asshole.
And the funny thing about that is it was the third or fourth one that I was like, oh, this is a pattern. It took me a while to catch on, but anyway.
Yeah, a couple years. But once you get the pattern, then you can you can go along with it. It's easier. You just smile, nod, and then you're like, I'm not going to be friends with you. I don't care about your family. I don't care about your grandchildren's photos. You're gone in a couple months.
Honestly, the last one, I didn't even bother learning his fucking name because it was a waste of time.
Anyway. He was a dick.
Anyway, but I would love to be there because this is an interesting time. So supposedly, Elon went in there and kind of took a couple of people out right away, took the big executives out, got rid of the CEO. Obviously, he's going to take over. We all saw that coming, but got rid of some senior management positions. He's been discussing getting rid of 75% of the workforce there. Which, listen, I don't want to see people lose their jobs, but at the same time, sometimes these companies get bloated and they, there's some repetition, and you got to make some moves. Also, everybody wants to know, is Trump coming back? So Trump actually put something out on Truth Social that I'll share with you. But I found it interesting that Elon kind of got ahead of a couple of things on Twitter. Because here's the thing, I have always loved Twitter. The people on Twitter, I don't really love. But Twitter, the idea of Twitter itself, to me, there is no better form of speedier communication than Twitter.
I don't like Twitter.
But I always felt like it is the go-to news app. Like when something happens, you just go to Twitter to find out what is going on in the world. To me, it's replaced cable news for me, and I feel like it's a good thing. Again, you got to know how to handle it and use it because you can't read what normal average Joes are saying. It's not great for that because there's just too many opinions on there. And I know I'm one of the people that throw opinions on there, but it's great for I talk to a bunch of, people from the live chat are kind of on Twitter now with me, and it's fun to interact on there. Like when we're not doing the show, it's kind of fun to have a back and forth with everybody still. So Twitter is just great for that. And it's great for breaking news. So Elon hopped on Twitter and he said a couple of things, which I thought was pretty smart, which was that, the first thing he did was put a big letter out to the advertisers of Twitter and kind of let them know. He wrote a 2-page letter to the advertisers on Twitter, letting them know what's to come. And I thought that was a good move because that's who you got to kind of make happy. By the way, I've never interacted with an ad on Twitter ever in my life. They can't make enough. They can't make the money that they make on Twitter that they make on Facebook with ads. And I think part of that, honestly, is because their revenue share with creators is dog shit. At least on Facebook, they're trying to. Nobody's better than YouTube. YouTube is the best. Yeah. Facebook is kind of getting there, and Twitter is not even close. But they're all trying, and I think Elon will come up with something. It was Walter Isaacson who tweeted the photo of Elon at the coffee bar addressing the Twitter people. You guys can see right there. Kind of hard to see, but there it is. Which I would love to be in that room when somebody takes over and kind of lays it all out. But anyway, so he killed some of the executives, let them go, tweeted the bird is free. He tweeted let the good times roll. And then he tweeted this, which I thought was super important. Twitter will be forming a content moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints. No major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes. Smart move, no?
Very.
Right,
very smart move.
this is what we want, right? This is what we want in the world, right? This is the government we've set up, democracy. Everybody decides for themselves. Well, okay, great. Get a bunch of, people from all different backgrounds, race, religion, sex, creed, politics,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And everybody gets in and votes on some of these major decisions. By the way, this is how Facebook runs their shit. So when everybody was going through the 2020 election and everybody was outraged and mad at Twitter for what they were doing, Facebook caught none of that flack because Facebook instituted this separate body of decision makers that has nothing to do with Mark Zuckerberg or the money people or any of that shit in Facebook. Those people make the decisions and everybody else can do their job. And it's like, well, if you have a problem, it's that council's issue. It's not our problem. Like, don't yell at us. They made the decision. They're independent people.
Very smart.
Kind of brilliant,
It is. But I'm kind of like, in the news, I'm kind of missing like Trump's stupid tweets.
Okay, so here's the thing. So now Elon tweets this because everybody wants to know if he turned, because everybody's like, oh, he's going to turn Trump's thing back on. And of course, the left-wing liberal media is driving me fucking crazy. They're already starting in with, oh, this person tweeted this Nazi thing or this person tweeted this hate thing. That shit is happening on Twitter all the time. If you frame it like, look at what's happening now that Elon took over, you're just part of the problem. This is what people don't understand, is that skew and that bias is so shitty. But the liberal media knows that they can put that out, and the people that are, and by the way, the conservative media does the same thing, just with other stuff. But this is one of those things where they just go, they feed it to their audience. This is what you guys want to see. Look, Elon's turning it to shit already. It's becoming this crazy racist place. And it's like, there's crazy racist people on there all the time. There's been no change or increase or anything.
Exactly.
So
Both
don't frame it
sides
that
have
way.
these crazy people that are like, oh my God, oh my God, like, chill the fuck out. This has been happening. I can't stand both sides.
So I think having an independent council will be a smart move. They can decide who can come back or be on there. They can decide if tweets are getting out of control, they can block them, take them down, do whatever. They could make those choices. And it's not up to Jack Dorsey, who I think is a great guy, and his other one or two people. That's just not I said this from a long time. You just can't have a small amount of people deciding what the masses get to read. That's a problem on any level, no matter what their views are. I'd be saying it if they were liberals. I'd be saying it if they were conservatives, if they were Catholic, if they were Jewish, if they were men, if they were women. You just can't have 4 or 5 people deciding what the entire world gets to see. It's never a good thing.
Especially that Dorsey guy. There's something about him that creeps me out.
Well, he's like one of these weird Zen Buddha guys. But I'll tell you this.
He just creeps me out.
He's already starting a new social media that's kind of interesting. It's based off of commerce, and supposedly it's going to have all these, not have the limitations of some other platforms. I don't know. I don't think social media platforms, I don't think we're going to get another one. I think
hope
TikTok
not.
I think TikTok was the last one we're going to get, and I think everything else, I don't think YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, I don't think they're going to TikTok. I don't think they're going to allow somebody else to come to the party. I think whatever starts to heat up and get hot, one of those big entities will buy and swallow up and just include in their mix.
Yeah, we're like, it's enough. It's enough for now.
Yeah. So Elon said that they're going to have a council, and then Donald Trump countered with his truth, because immediately everybody started saying, well, if Trump goes back to Twitter, where does that leave Truth Social? Basically in the toilet, because nobody goes to Truth Social for anything other than what Donald Trump has to say. So this is what Donald Trump had to say today. Truth Social has become somewhat of a phenomena. Last week, it had bigger numbers than all other platforms, including TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and the rest. Let me come back to that. It also looks and works better to my eye. I am very happy that Twitter is now in sane hands and will no longer be run by radical left lunatics and maniacs that truly hate our country. Twitter must now work hard to rid itself of all those bots and fake accounts that have hurt it so badly. It will be much smaller, but better. I love truth in all caps. And that was his thing. So let me break down a couple things here. Truth Social had incredible numbers the last couple of weeks because it just went from Apple only to the Google store. So
that makes a difference.
So everybody that had a Google phone now put it on their phone, which gave it insane numbers. So when TikTok, Facebook, Twitter is already on your Google phone and you're looking at weekly downloads and then a new app becomes available and then everybody downloads that, obviously it's going to beat the amount of downloads all the other social media networks have because most people already have those on their phone. So I love the passion. I'm not hating on Donald here. It's a PR way to say it, but that's the actual truth. He's kind of framing it a little crazy. But that's what happened there. I don't think that Jack Dorsey, although left leaning and so was the rest of his company, I don't think that they hate our country. So I disagree with that. And I think that the way he said this was interesting because my belief, and Cuddles, I'll call on your opinion after I give mine. I think that he's got a lot of money invested in Truth Social, as well as a lot of other people. And if he left it right now, it would sink and die. But I also think, so I don't think he's joining. I don't think, even if he gets reinstated on Twitter, I don't think he goes back to Twitter right away. But
I agree.
If he does run for election in 2024, he will have no choice but to go back onto Twitter. There's just no way that's how his social media presence helped him win the first time. He's going to need it again to win. He can't do it all from Truth Social. I'm sorry. He just absolutely cannot. So if he goes back to running, if he announces he's running, if he's allowed to, if they reinstate him on Twitter, he will 100% be back on Twitter. He can't help it.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, he can't help it. And Truth Social, let's be honest, stinks. Again, you're just screaming into the void of your own people. Like outside
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been on it.
Yeah, most people haven't, and most people have seen screenshots of what he's saying on other outlets. Like that's just the fact of the matter. It's just never going to be a thing. It was not built that way. By the way, I have to say this. Wait, I gotta get this because I was just talking about people on the. I'm sorry, Cuddles. You agree? Disagree?
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think for an election, he needs every single platform. But right now, he doesn't need Twitter. He's got Truth, and like you said, there's a lot of people that put money into it. They will lose money if he leaves it and goes to Twitter.
We've been talking about.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button because I am congested, so I don't want people to hear me unless I'm talking. And I pressed the camera, and you could see me. I don't know if people saw me. You probably saw my forehead, but still.
I was talking about interacting with everybody on Twitter. I have to say this because is Paul here? Yeah, Paul's here. Paul has been working on me on Twitter, Cuddles. Working on me.
What do you mean? What is he doing? I
said a couple of episodes ago, maybe or last episode, I was saying how I think it was last episode. It was it's sad that every time I go to the ballot to vote because I just want to have a candidate
person
that I love or that's inspiring or that I feel great about.
I get that.
I have not left a voting place feeling great in a really long time. And so
I know that. I agree 100%.
Paul tweeted me a quote tweet from Mohammed Safa. I don't know who the hell that is, but this was a really nice sentiment. A vote is not a Valentine. You aren't confessing your love for the candidate. It's a chess move for the world you want to live in.
Oh, that's deep.
It's pretty wise, isn't it?
Oh, that's deep.
I read that and I was like, oh man, Paul's working on me.
I know, but we are in New York and November 8th there is a very important election.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for us right now, but like that hits deep.
And
I
listen,
like that, Paul.
listen, I agree. I really appreciate. I don't think I didn't even answer it because I was trying to come up with a good answer, and then I was like, I have to do this on the podcast. I agree, and I vote that way, and I do vote that way. Um, and I've skipped a couple of elections because I've been frustrated. I'm not gonna lie to everybody,
Yeah. No, but
but
things are different now. Things
I
are
am
different now because we have kids.
true, but I am forever an optimist, and I will still vote Paul the way this Muhammad lays it out. I will still vote to live in the world I want to live in, but I will also still hold out hope that one day we can go to those goddamn booths and there'll be a candidate on that friggin' thing that it'll be somebody that you would really be proud to vote for, and really
Yes.
be proud enough to be
Yes.
like, I am happy this person is running. I really hope
Yep.
they win because I think most of us are just voting for people that are just not the other person.
Oh, 100%.
And,
Yep.
not to sound like a romantic douchebag, but I'm hopeful that one, and I'm not saying for president, maybe it'll be a governor, maybe it'll be a local state senator. I don't know. But I would just love at some point to be like, that fucking guy.
Yeah. It's hard. It really, really is hard because you've like it's not like I don't know. It's very hard lately because I'm like, I agree with this person on these things, and then I agree with the other person on these things, and I don't. It's very hard. I feel like there's no one that really represents me as the person who I am, and that's disheartening very much.
Paul suggested Dave Matthews. If Dave runs, I'll have that feeling.
Oh
That'll be
God,
that'll be my feeling.
Christ.
Well, I don't know if I would agree with Dave on every platform, but he is.
I don't know, but you would just vote for him because you love that man.
Yeah, I'd want to see the inaugural concert that's for sure.
Yeah.
Boro that ended forever with JFK. I mean, I think a lot of people would
Ooh.
would agree.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
JFK encapsulated. He encapsulated is not the word I want to use. He
He
swept.
embodied.
I was gonna say he swept America off their feet. There was people that
Yeah.
were just very disenfranchised that suddenly got back involved again because of him. They were so hopeful for him.
I
And
know. They kind of just looked past him being like a womanizer and cheater and just were in love with him.
that's
Because
right.
of Jackie.
I
Because
forgot you.
of Jackie. She did it for him.
Right.
That's why he became president. Because
Well,
of Jackie.
they were in love with her just the same, right? Well, it was the whole
Oh my
package.
God. She is like,
She was
oh
his
my
biggest
God.
weapon, was she not? And during the
Oh,
election,
100%. And the family and her getting pregnant and then losing. She is just, God rest her soul.
yeah.
Beauty.
And I think second, and a very distant second, I think was Obama. I think Obama represented a lot of hope for people. Obviously,
Yeah,
in
I
the
don't know why people hate him so much. I liked him.
no, he was very good. I know that's an unpopular statement to say, but I remain.
Listen, he didn't do anything to this country that other presidents haven't done, including the Bushes. Okay?
Well, he wore a cream suit. That was unforgivable. Remember that?
Listen, I mean, you make mistakes, fashion, but
We never
it is
rebounded
what
from.
it is.
Yeah.
You say you're sorry and you move on.
I think history is going to look back at his presidency as a good one because, again, I know healthcare is still a struggle right now, but economically, he got us out of '09, and there was a ton of growth, and there was no wars. He got Bin Laden. He gets all the credit for that. He did a lot.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, I think they're going to look back on his presidency as a good one. So that's Elon, Trump, and Twitter. Here's the latest with those people. Speaking of politics, Paul Pelosi got his fucking skull bashed in by some crazy who busted into their house in California looking for Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I don't like her, but that's horrible. Like, that's just horrible. Like, what happened to civilization? Like, what happened to people?
Yeah, and I was gonna make jokes because he was literally he got arrested for fucking driving drunk. So he's kind of a big piece of shit in my eyes. But nobody deserves this. I don't know why there's not more security for Congress, especially leadership, the senior positions, the people that are, really in the eye of the public. Pelosi,
He's
Schumer,
like uber rich. Pay for your own fucking security. He's worth
six,
hundreds of millions of dollars. Give me a break.
yeah, $6 million house. Well, that's what all that insider trading will get you.
Exactly. Your wife working in the government will get you really good stock tips,
Yeah.
and that's how you make your money.
Yeah. But McConnell, all these pieces of shit, listen, I'd love to throw them a beating
Oh,
too, but
exactly.
the fact of the matter is they should have some form of security, a little bit better, and even their families, in their residences. I mean, just something, some form of awareness, especially now in our current climate. It's just people are just batshit crazy, and they have too much access and Google
It's
Maps,
too
and
much hatred. Everyone like hates each other.
yeah.
Oh,
I have to say this: if Frank were here, he would be blaming Trump. And I would say it's ridiculous, but I would also say he's 3% correct. Like, I just feel like there is a
I
little bit
just,
of,
like, you can't keep blaming everything on the man. He says, like, I don't bring up his name. Like, people are just, like, we have no regard for human life anymore.
no, I agree, but I just think the vitriol of what he says, what Marjorie Taylor. Here's the thing: it's not just him anymore, but it's all his little disciples that are just copying everything he says, and they say some pretty harsh shit. And I think it does speak to some of these nut bars that are like, I'm going to do something about this. I really do. I really, really do.
Well, they caught the person, so I'd like to know information on him before I make a judgment.
Well, he's wielding a fucking hammer in the house. How much more information? I also heard that he was at a nudist wedding. I didn't get to read that
Oh,
article, but the guy who did it, the guy who was, let me see if I could find it. He was part, I
wait,
think,
is this California?
yeah, yeah,
They live in
yeah,
Cal. Oh, I'm not surprised anymore.
yeah, she's from California. I'll see. I don't know if I can find. I just feel like at some point I saw somebody say that like he was like uh what's not
Was
M
the guy like looking for ice cream or something?
ice cream. No.
All right, forget it.
I didn't get that reference. What is that a joke from?
Don't you remember she was like there was a big thing like back in 20 it was at 2020 or 21 she was like talking about ice cream and like Pelosi was talking about like ice cream and stuff and like the Republicans went crazy. Like, "Oh my God." She's
No.
like, she's talking about her $20 ice cream.
Oh no, I don't remember that. Yeah,
People are crazy.
he's a former nudist from British Columbia. Oh, he's a Canadian. Gee, dear Lord.
Oh God.
Thank God, because if he was American, that Paul Pelosi would have been dead. He fucking probably asked if he could hit him with a hammer before he did it. He said, "Hey, can I hit you with this in the head over there, eh? Just lightly." Um, struggle with drugs, crazy right wing conspiracy theories, history of anti-Semitic rants. So we can blame Kanye on this a little bit then. Racial
No,
slurs.
don't blame anyone. He sounds like a real gem. How did he get? Oh, the Republicans are going to be like, how did he get in this country? Did he come through Mexico?
I think the Republicans are going to be like, "See, it's not just guns. Hammers hurt people too." Um, here's the thing.
That's
Here's
hysterical.
I saw a speech from Marjorie Taylor. I'm really getting fed up with her. It's just the divisiveness. I just feel like again, and I feel like I'm good at taking the pulse of the room, the country. I feel like if all these people start going back the other way and talk about what they can do and moving forward in progress instead of just constant division, which seems to be what the MAGA people are really going for, I think they'll do a lot better. I don't think that this divisive thing, I think I think even the hardcore MAGA followers, and I would love to hear from you if you're in the live chat, if you're a MAGA Republican, if you find that offensive, you just support Trump or you like Trump. I would love to know what you think about the constant, unbearable, never-ending divisiveness. Like at some point, you got to start talking about what you think you can accomplish instead of like what's so shitty about the other side.
But I think both sides do that. Both sides bash each other, but they never do anything productive.
Both sides do, but it's like have you watched the Marjorie Taylor Greene speech? Like
no, I'm not going to watch toxic bullshit. I have no time for that in my life.
It's fucking relentless. Like it is just relentless dog shit. And I watch her and I feel like even at these Trump rallies, she just loses the crowd a little bit, Paige says Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about Pelosi and yesterday and then tweeted, wait and watch what happens tomorrow. Is that true?
I have heard that, but I don't know, like, I don't know. I can't be like, why beat up her husband? What would that do for
Well, he was going for her. He was going for her and he was screaming for her and she wasn't at the house. So he just smacked the shit out of
her 80-year-old husband? That sounds fucking retarded.
I like Paul's idea, Brian's idea here. Sorry, make Anthony great again. See, that's for cuddles.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. It's like you're just a work in work in progress.
Yes, please, somebody put the link in the live chat to Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that stuff. I would love to hear it. All right, so that's that. Let's move on from that. The McRib video.
I can't eat that. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Link in the description. The McRib, somebody on YouTube. Hang on, I'll get the credit up here for a second.
Great
if
you have a really sensitive stomach, don't do it.
Yeah. Stephen Petula. Link in the description of this episode if you're watching or listening. You can watch the video. But he shows how the McRib is made. And it basically, it's like this little pink, disgusting frozen block.
Oh, God. It's horrible. It's made to look like ribs.
Right.
Like, it's horrible. It's wrong.
Just in a mold. And they throw it on the grill and cook it up. And then they put it in one of those awful yellow see-through drawers with sauce. And then they just take it out and they put it on the bun and they fucking with a couple of onions. And oh my God, it just looks
Isn't this like the end of the McRib? Isn't it like a goodbye tour for it?
But nobody I was just reading a Restaurant Insider article today where they're like, they don't even know why that McDonald's is. Obviously, they're trying to spur sales, but it's so stupid because nobody believes for a second that they're not going to bring this back again.
Well, when you buy 2 freaking Happy Meals with their dog shit food for like $22, yeah, you got to like kick up sales because no one wants to spend $22 for dog shit.
Robin, good thing the Hammer Stalker didn't break in with a bag full of McRibs. That's true. Paul Pelosi would have never survived that.
Robin, he would have been vomiting everywhere. It looks horrible. I'm sorry.
Those are like little frozen bricks. I don't know. If you whack somebody with a bag full of McRibs, they'll never wake up from that coma.
Never. Yeah. Only to vomit to pass back out.
Yeah. It's so gross. And if you make somebody eat it rather than hit them with it, I think it's even worse.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just some things just aren't supposed to be made.
Speaking of which, did you see the Madonna titty video I sent you?
Oh, I did.
Do you think that's real?
I'll never fucking forget that. Yes, because that bitch keeps getting more work done on her. Me, at 40 years old, has more wrinkles than that 70-year-old flapping vagina, okay?
If you guys
her face is so fucking smooth. It's smoother than our daughter's 5-year-old ass, okay? She has had so much work done.
If you want to see what we're talking about on Madonna's Instagram, if you're watching a replay or listening to this later, it's probably gone. But if you want to see it right now, it is on her Instagram stories. So you got to watch her stories. And it's like the third story in. But
Don't do it if you've eaten.
There's a cigar one. There's one where she's leaning over. And then there's one where she's just, I'll flash it on the screen really quick. She's just like standing there in it. What do you call that thing where they cinch your stomach in?
Like a bustier, like a girdle kind of a
Is
thing.
that what it's called?
She's got her flapping old titties just hanging out.
I think she made
That's
these
a lot of work.
Bigger because they're like stuck together in the middle. Hang on, let me go back to the previous shot. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know. Like in my mind, I feel like she's just using like that app where you just like pinch it to make it bigger. Like you just circle something and you just pinch to make it bigger.
You sent it to me. I was looking at it. So now if you edit a picture, sometimes you can find like areas where you're like, it's distorted a little bit. So I was trying to find that. And I'm pretty good at that because there are a lot of bitches out there that edit their photos. It's like, okay, be real. And I really couldn't find it. And I believe she would look like that just because she's got a lot of money. And I mean, she seems extremely vain.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she had a corset. That's what it is. It's a corset.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all that. And her, like, how old is she now? Like, if we're 40, she's got to be in her 60s.
I think she's in her 60s. Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
She's just got them all hanging out. At some point, you just have to start acting like your age and like a grandma, because that's what you are.
She's 64. She doesn't look 64.
Holy
I will say though, okay, those are enormous titties.
Huge.
Those are huge hooties.
But they're kind of hanging, so they could be more natural, because when you have kids and everything, they start going down south. But she could have, like stuff in them and implants and stuff.
Oh, she definitely has implants in them for sure.
Yeah, they're huge.
But aren't they they're too connected together? Like, let me flash this. Let me flash this quick for everybody.
She's got her boobies done.
They're too, look at the middle where they're joined.
Yeah.
They're just too joined together.
You get that a lot when you have your boobs done.
Yeah, so I'm not saying she doesn't have her boobs done, but still, I mean, it's...
God. And I'm not jealous, but, at some point, it's like, hey, embrace yourself.
I will say
she's starting to look like that woman. Do you know the one that, what do they call her?
That cat lady?
Yes!
Yeah.
You get that,
But she looks better in these photos today, than she did a few weeks ago or months ago when she had that close-up shot of herself on TikTok. Yeah. And it freaked everybody out. I don't know when that was. We talked about it on the podcast.
I don't know. I don't watch your show if I'm not really on it.
I hate you. I don't know if whatever just kind of started settling in. Because when they squirt you up, doesn't that kind of subside?
It's called airbrush.
Oh, you think she just airbrushed these photos?
You could. The Kardashians do it. A lot of people do it. You can airbrush your photos.
You know how crazy the Kardashians got? Somebody sent me a video of Kim. She's pulling her. She's laying sideways. It's a video, and she pulls up her underwear. She pulls her underwear away from her body and snaps it down. Yeah. And then she runs her finger from her knee and her thigh, down to her stomach. But when her finger goes over the underwear part, which is so creased in, her
Yeah.
finger distorts a little bit.
Oh, God.
And it's like, I know she did that and she's been caught, and I think you even talked about she's manipulated photos, but I've never seen an actual video being manipulated that way. But you can see
God.
it when she runs her finger down, her finger gets all distorted going over that specific part where she snaps her underwear on her
That's so
hip.
sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Madonna be like, can we get a boob job for the table? Like, let's just get a boob. Just
For the table?
for the table.
For the table.
Everybody's a boob job. Very funny, Robin.
Listen, if Madonna wants to pay for me to have nice boobies, I'm all for it. I know you're not, but I'm all for it.
No, but I will say, like, I think the reason why I wanted to bring this up was, first of all, like, body-wise, she looks good. Like, I know she's wearing a corset and it looks like she's sucking in a lot, but good for her. She's 64, for Christ's sake. You know, she's got them huge knockers. My point is
Do you really think that she looks like that naturally? Do you think she's fucking exercising? That bitch is lucky she hasn't broken a hip.
no, you don't think she exercises? I think she exercises.
I don't think to look like that.
But I don't think she looks that out. Like, if you look at her stomach, like, she's got a little gut. It's just in a corset.
Yeah. After menopause, that's what women do. They gain
Yeah,
weight in their stomach areas and stuff. But that bitch has, like, listen. She's just like, what's her name? Not that I don't love her, Dolly Parton. She admits that she gets a lot of work done.
Yeah. But my point with Madonna is lay off the face stuff. Just I think you could go back to being a beautiful lady, an old lady, but a beautiful, just lay off the fucking
let's
face
come
shots.
on now. You're 60-something years old. Embrace it. We're going to love you no matter what. You don't have to look like you're 25. We're going to love you.
I think Paige says, I think she still dances. I think so too. I think she still works out quite a bit. I think she's just kind of got that in her, but she doesn't live too far from us, by the way. She's in Watermill, I think.
You could stay there.
What?
You could stay there.
She fell off a horse not that long ago. I remember that. Jerry Lee Lewis died. Here's what's weird about this. Everybody said he died 3 days ago, and then everybody was like, Jerry Lee Lewis is not dead, and that was the big story. And then here we are 2 days later, and he is dead.
Oh, how old was he?
Fucking 100 and whatever. I don't even know. 90 something.
Holy shit.
No, again, nobody seems to give a shit that this guy married his 14-year-old cousin.
Well, back then that was normal.
22. Yeah. It really
was. Jesus Christ, was he really 22 and she was 14?
He was 20 something. Because he was hitting at the time, and 2 strikes, young and cousin. And nobody. I mean, everybody's been talking about it for the longest time, but nobody seems to really give a shit. I'm pretty sure that's why he's not getting. I mean, there have already been movies made about him, and he's been in a lot of movies now. Meaning, like, when the Johnny Cash movie came out, his character was in it. Obviously, he's background character. I don't think he's ever going to get like a biopic made now with the technology that they have now because of the fact that he fucking married his 14-year-old cousin. I don't know how old he was. 18, 20, 22. It's not great at any age. At any age. But I'm not sure. I'm just saying I'm not sure what age it was, but it was definitely an inappropriate one. So that's Jerry Lee Lewis. He's fucking dead.
Aww.
And what are you gonna do? And that's it, Cuddles. That's the episode.
That's it?
That's it. I ran out of topics. You got anything? We went to the fire. We had, what was it? Fire literacy night?
It was the Friday fireside literacy night.
Now, I thought when you first told me about this, whatever kid can't read, we just throw them into the fire.
Well, that's not our child, thank God.
That's not what happened.
No, it was very nice. I think it was great.
Be honest now. I'm gonna put a picture up. It got romantical for a little while there.
It did, because our kids ditched us to run around with their friends with flashlights.
Yes, I almost got Cuddles in the forest. I was trying to.
No.
Had I given her these 2 beers before we got there, I think I could have gotten her to go into the forest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you might have.
But there's our fire pit, and you can see in the background there's another one, and then even farther behind that is another fire pit. They invited all the kids in the school to bring fire pits, portable fire pits, to the school, and everybody had a fire. And then we left the fire pit, and the fire department was there. They were going to handle it. We got to go pick it up. But I thought it was a lovely little evening, a nice little.
We did. We had a really good evening. It was so nice. This is like, this is what it's about, making memories with our children.
Cuddles and I were joking that we never had this shit when we were growing up in Queens.
No, nothing. Nothing.
You know, you had the occasional car fire on the side of the Belt Parkway. That was basically as close to this as we got back then.
Yeah, like our district just like so many things. It's great.
They do. Sorry about that. They do a lot of great things. But like we have, so where Cuddles and I grew up, there was a huge area. Huge. And it was all just weeds. It was protected because of a bird or some shit, wasn't it?
Yes, you could not touch it or build on it because it was a natural preserve.
Yeah. So then every now and then somebody would just go in there and light part of it on fire. And then it was because it was dry weeds. It would just light up and just, you can see the fire from miles. It was like a California wildfire in Queens. So we had that, but we never had like, hey, let's get a controlled fire and all read around it, to promote reading,
Yeah, but we went to Catholic school. It was totally different.
It's true. We were dodging getting molested by the fucking priests and nuns.
Exactly.
There was also that element of it.
Exactly.
I said to my son, I'm like, you run around with your friends trying not to get tagged. We were trying not to get a dick in the cheek. You know what I'm saying? It was rough times back then.
No kids, I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody else I was talking to, we were laughing, another dad, we were laughing about how, like, we barely knew our dads. Like, I knew, you and I, Cuddles, we knew our dad, but our dads were, like, working, and, like, our dads really didn't know their dads. Like, generationally, we've changed so much where, like, I spend a lot more time. Like, my dad was a good dad. I spend more time with our kids than my dad spent with me because he was fucking working.
Yeah, but I think it's a different world where it's important now that you're really a part of their life. I think if it was just me, it would not, I just think it's so important.
Is it though? Because the point that this guy was making was, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. Like, we're not meant to, like, women are such nurturers and they have motherly instincts and they're just, you're built for this. You're so much, like, the worst mother is way better than the best father. And I agree with that. I really agree with that.
I don't know.
No matter how good of a dad you have, it just pales into comparison to a mom. I know that's an unfair thing to say. I
understand. And you say that, like, our children's, like, life is me. But just a little while ago, Michael woke up afraid and he was screaming for you.
Well, that's because I had been in there previously, told him I was going to protect him from anything. And also, because that's when dad gets called. When shit's about to go down, dad gets called. But 98% of the time when everything is fine, it's mom. It's mom everything.
I know. But you know what? This kind of segues into something that I read, and there's so much negative shit in this world that comes out, and this just shows you. I read about the story about the coal miner.
Wait, be honest with me. You don't think our kids would be better off if I was around less? Because I do.
No.
I think they would benefit.
Oh my God, your daughter, the sun rises and sets with you.
I think they would benefit with less time from me.
They're with me 24/7 as is. So, I mean.
I was joking with Cuddles the other night how our daughter wanted to do like a little song and dance. And right, Cuddles? She did not stop looking at me for approval.
Because you're her father. She knows she has my approval. I've taken care of her for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
She's just looking for you. That's all she wants. She knows she doesn't need to do anything to get my love. It's just
And
there.
and I saw it too when she was looking so much at me and not at you. I said to myself, I said, do not break eye contact. This is one of those moments where you can keep her off the pole. I'm like, this
Oh,
is just focusing on her. I didn't even blink.
God.
I was just like, this is one of those moments that's going to be a core memory for her, and I'm going to keep her off the pole. Don't look at the
She's
TV.
so
Don't pick up your
horrible.
phone. I just focused in on her, and
She loves you.
it felt like a
For
video game.
some reason, she loves you.
It felt like a video game where the more we kept eye contact, my score for keeping her off the pole kept going higher.
He's so stupid. He's so stupid.
Tell me about the thing you were reading. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was this huge, like, it's all over. It's about the Kentucky coal miner who went to the University of Kentucky basketball game with his son. And there he sat full of soot from the coal mine. He worked a hard day. He was like literally filthy. His beard was supposed to be red because he had red hair, and it literally was dark brown. And it just showed you how important. And he ran from work. He was running late, got in that car, went with his son to this basketball game because it was his first, his son's first, University of Kentucky. It's important to be there. That's why you're important to them. These are things that, they're going to remember, just like this coal miner, in Kentucky, getting to that game with his son, dirty. It did not matter, just being there.
Mm.
And that's amazing. And that's what you do. I don't know why you put yourself down.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just being honest. That I feel like
Exactly, Paige. Exactly. She's learning what a man should do and should act. Because we don't want no scrubs trying to court our daughter years from now.
that's
Like
true.
30 years from now when she's 35.
TLC taught me that back in the mid 2000s, and I never let it go.
Exactly. No scrubs. No broke asses. Nope, not for our daughter.
Cuddles is saying, "Don't Tom Brady those kids." Yeah, but no, listen. I believe all this to be true,
Exactly.
and I think a dad can play significant roles in that time, in that timeline. But in every, even in a gay marriage, there's still somebody who's going to be more motherly. And I
Yeah.
think the father figure is just, how do I put this? You're the steak and I'm the mashed potatoes. Do you know what I mean? Like, both are important to the meal, but we all know who's really the most important,
Yeah, you might be like the zucchini and the vegetables. I wouldn't give yourself the mashed potatoes. That's like I wouldn't give yourself that.
It's hurtful,
But
but noted.
yeah. Yeah, I agree
No,
on that.
it's true though. But it's funny because I feel like we came off the last couple of generations of like, my dad was never around, or my dad's a piece of shit, or dad's always working, or dad abandoned us, whatever it was, and that like we've been coming off of that to now, like, dad's spending more time at home, dad's working from home, dad's staying at home while mom goes out and works.
Yeah, because we figured it wasn't helping, it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, but I just never thought of. I'm saying we've gotten this has been basically the talk, right, of the last few 10, 20, 30 years. And
Yeah.
it's never dawned on me until this guy said it to me of like, what if it's not a good thing? Like, what if we're making it
No,
worse? And I was
I
kind of
think
like,
it's a good thing. I
that's so
think he needs
interesting.
to
Like,
be
but
a
maybe,
part of his life.
I'll tell you what, we're going to find out over the next 40 to 50 years. But I think it's an interesting premise to be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, maybe we were making it worse.
Yeah, but there are things that you're gonna have to teach him and that you do teach him that I can't. And
Well,
there are things
here's
that I need to do before I can hand him off to another woman because I can't do that to another
we
woman.
got a lot of
Not the
work.
way that our son is right now.
We
God
got a
help
lot
him.
of work to do on that
I
kid.
got a lot of
A lot of
fucking work. Oh, Jesus
But
Christ.
here's the other thing this guy said to me. He goes, the best dads are actually the divorced dads because they will take the kid for the whole weekend or for a Saturday. And the divorced dad, because he spends so little time with his children, like, you know how we are, like, okay, we'll go to a
Yeah.
movie or we'll go to the fair or whatever. But like a divorced dad will be like, let's go to the carnival. Let's go to the
Yeah, he
rides.
wants to do all the fun shit because he doesn't see his kid for 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah. So there,
It's all fun and games.
but this idea, like, it'll be like twice a week or, two times during the week. But this idea of like the divorced dads are better dads also kind of struck me as an interesting thing. Whereas that maybe they are spending more time with the kids and they're doing higher quality activities. Where like us, like if my son's like, Dad, what do you want to do today? I'm like, you want to go to the park? Like, I mean, I'm not dropping $400 today, after we probably dropped 300 the day before. But whereas a divorced dad will be like, he'll follow up like the water park on a Saturday with like the rides and shit on like a Sunday,
Well, yeah, he feels like he has to like make up for shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to make up for anything because you're always going to fucking be there. You're always going to be there at bedtime to say goodnight to them. That
Mhm.
divorced dad is not going to be there. And there's going to be, we're together for every single holiday. That divorced dad isn't. This makes me think of that movie. Is it the Santa Claus 1 or 2?
One.
1. Yeah, that is the most sad scene like ever. You
When
remember when
they
it's all the dads Thanksgiving? Yeah, that
at
one's
Denny's,
horrible.
they all
Yeah.
go to the
Oh
Denny's.
God.
Yeah.
Yep. You
Yeah.
better fucking be nice to me. You better be nice to me because
Everybody
let's
everybody
get
hear
real
that?
because I get those fucking kids in this divorce.
Everybody hear that tone? Yeah, well, if we were playing Tom and Giselle, which one of our houses would you like to how would you like to split our houses, Cuddles?
Who's splitting shit? Get the fuck out. Get out. You could go live in like what are they called? Not even a 1 bedroom. You
An
get one
apartment?
of those. No, it was been an apartment, but it's not a 1 bedroom. It's the one where the kitchen, bathroom, and like the living room and
Oh,
bathroom were all one big fucking room.
a
Not
studio.
even one big, yeah, a studio. You'd be fucking sleeping in the toilet. Literally. You'd be like on a fucking cruise, where you can flush the toilet and turn the shower on at the same time?
Yep. Yeah, I
That's
believe
what you
that.
would be doing.
I
So, you
totally.
better be nice to me.
Kids' expectations though are crazy. Like we did this bonfire thing tonight and they had like a food truck there. So my wife goes and gets a nice spread of mac and cheese, chicken fingers and fries, hamburgers, like spread it. I'm building the fire. She's getting all the food, spreading it all out. She gives my daughter a chicken finger, forces a chicken finger on her. She eats the chicken finger. She refuses to eat any more chicken fingers. Won't have any French fries. Nothing else. She bamboozled me into a fruit roll up later in the
Because you're a
evening.
sucker. You're a
Yeah,
suck. She looks at you and you're like, "What can I do for you, honey?
yeah.
Whatever you need, princess,
Then we pack up,
bitch."
get everything into the car. We're clicking seatbelts. As soon as she clicks her seatbelts in, she goes, "What's for dinner when we get home?" It's like, no, no. We
No
just
respect. None.
$80 at the fucking food truck to try and get to have mac and cheese. No, okay, have a chicken finger. No, okay, have a friend. All this stuff, and she fucking clicks in. What's for
Mozzarella
dinner?
sticks.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. As there's 3 fucking chicken tenders left, and she's like, "What's for dinner?" Girl, you going to bed hungry. Go away. Okay? I've had enough.
I wonder if anybody else's kids are like that, or if that's just our children.
If they're shitheads,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't think we're the only ones. I bet there's going to be a lot of people that are like, yeah, my kids are like assholes. I get it. I get it.
yeah. I don't know. We have to have a. We should do a strictly parenting episode where it's not so much a podcast as much as it is we all just get together, everybody in the live chat and everything, and we just have a little group therapy session where we check in on each other. It was just a parenting group therapy session. Frank's not allowed to come.
He's got no kids. And a dog doesn't count. Sorry, Frank.
Frank made me, I mean, he's such a dick. You all think he's so nice. There was a moment in our group friend chat earlier where my wife was complaining about the kids doing homework, and
I asked, first of all, sorry to interrupt you. I asked if there was anyone else who has to sit on their hands when they're doing homework with their kids just so they wouldn't go to jail for beating their children.
And
that's what I asked. Go ahead.
Of course, everybody like kind of chimes in, and there's a little bit of time, and Frank just simply writes, "Sounds terrible," period. And he put the period in there, which just goes to who puts a period at the end of their text messages, but a douchebag trying to put the fucking. I read that and I was like, I laughed, but
Uncle Frank better be nice, or in our will, we're gonna make him like, if anything happens to me and you, he's gonna take our kids. Like, don't fuck with me, or else I'm gonna give you my kids, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen then.
That's gonna be our last laugh. I agree. Yep.
That's 100%.
He's acting like he's gotten through this life scot-free. Well, wait until we have a tragic car accident, and now he's stuck with these two son of a bitches for the rest of his life. See how he likes it.
Cecilia doesn't like crust, and Michael only likes Philadelphia cream cheese. Let's go. I'll write out a whole list of what my kids don't do and don't like. So
in our will, we're gonna write, and of course we only will trust our children to be raised by Frank and Aaron. ... Sounds terrible. ... And see how he fucking likes it. We're gonna be laughing from wherever the hell we are.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's our only form of revenge. This just goes to show you how twisted parenting is that we're fantasizing about our own double homicide car wreck.
Well, I'm not. No, see, that's but I'm not really fantasizing about my death. Someone else's death. I am.
Me? That feels like me.
I didn't say that. I didn't say you. You just have a guilty. No, I didn't. I didn't say you. But if you think that way, it's okay. Okay, so then you think it's you.
Just feels like it was pointed in this direction. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to say yes or no, but if you feel that way, then whatever.
All right, Cuddles. Halloween is upon us for the next episode. If you've got a great, scary story, send it over to us right now, mdchmedia@gmail.com. Write us an email with your scary story, mdchmedia.
I would love to know if anyone is dressing up.
We are going to dress up, by the way. Forgot to tell you, we got to go to the costume store tomorrow because I got to get an outfit.
Oh, God, no.
To wear for the Halloween
Do you know what kind of people go like the day or like the day before?
Douchebags like me. I'll be there to be able to nod to all the other douchebags that are there getting their last minute costumes.
Until you become a hockey player. You put one of your jerseys on, and I'm a hockey player.
I could do that again.
Every fucking year.
I can go back to that one. All right, that's it. mdchmedia@gmail.com. Send us your story. If you want to share that ghost story on the air with us Monday on the episode, we're going to be inviting everybody to come on and share their ghost stories. But you have to send the email first so we could previously approve of said story. Thank you, Cuddles, for everything. You're brilliant as always.
Thank you for having me.
See you guys on the next one.
Show me potato salad. Maybe we should go now. Go ahead.